our stakeholders or our participants having that practice experience within those trainings that we are giving some high level trainings to companies like IBM, EY and the likes. So when we teach and when they go into these practice rooms with a facilitator and under supervision practice these principles, they are walking away at the end of the day with some solid growth that they can then carry forward into their regular day-to-day affairs.
So we're now going to have a panel discussion talking about what might the future of corporate training look like. So please put your hands together and welcome back to the stage Anshul and Kartik. So good to be in Mumbai.
Yes, it is.
Loving this. So, we went from pre-COVID and, we had the standard 7-8 hour training days. We would be in a room and a lot of the times you get a bit bored because everyone just wanted to deliver as much content as possible. The facilitators went, I've got heaps of knowledge. All I'm going to do is send it to you. But we've seen such a big shift over the past couple of years where we have changed a lot in the way, the methodology we deliver corporate training. So I'm going to start with you, Kartik. You've been in the game for quite a long time. You're involved in both personal and professional development. What for you has been the biggest shift that you've noticed in corporate training over the last couple of years?
I think, Craig, the biggest shift has been the shift towards online, facilitated by COVID as well, I think. We used to believe that trainings have to be in person, they have to be high touch, we have to be in a room, there has to be lunch and lollies and everything of that sort. But when digital came over, I think it took us by a storm where someone could sit in Singapore, someone could sit in Australia, someone could sit in India, and we could have cross-cultural collaborative teams delivering content that is producing results for the stakeholders that we are serving. So suddenly we have perspectives diving in from various countries of various life experiences, which is making entire overall human experience much more richer. And nothing is more pleasurable to me when a human being can have a much richer experience, because I'm a psychologist, I guess. But this is the shift I've been seeing. You from Australia, her from Sikkim, I from Hyderabad, someone from Singapore can collaborate and deliver something online. That's like marvelous for me.
Yeah, very good. I mean, in the past, it was all about one facilitator, fill up a room or put 20 people there, and you can't really get a personal touch. And so you were talking about there that the way we approach team facilitating. So for you, Anshul, being involved in this process, as a team, what have you felt has been the biggest advantage for not only us as facilitators, but also the organizations that we work with?
I think just getting their employees to open up. They've opened up and they have flooded the chat boxes, right? When we were all online, there was no hesitation to interact, and I think that opened up a lot of doors. So that was a really nice shift. The other one, I think, for organizations is that we've removed the clutter out of training. Literally, this showcase could have been a whole one-day event, and you would have to dedicate your entire working day. But because of this shift, what we have done is we've been able to concise them. We've been able to declutter and really give you only the meaty stuff, which is relevant and important for you. So I think that's been the biggest shift, because organizations are all about productivity. And if you're getting so much of value within 2 hours or 4 hours, nothing like it.
Yeah, you touch on a great point there where, when you're in person, you get to, if you want to hear the thoughts of the room, you have to get people to speak. Now, we all know some people love holding the mic for a very long time, and there are others who won't say much. But with the power of the chat online, we were able to get the collective thoughts of the room in real time. And for us, we've gone, okay, we've shrunk a 7-8 hour program into 4 hours online, same content, better delivered, micro learning, so it's shorter segments, higher quality practice. But how do we now take that into when we go in person again? Because no one wants to be in the room anymore for 7 or 8 hours in a day. Like, companies want to make sure that they can still have their team interact with clients or interact with colleagues that day. Sure, it's less time, but they want to interact. And so, we're really looking forward to, that opportunity to blend that in. So do you want to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the future with regards to the in-person, with regards to collective thoughts?
Absolutely. And I think there's something that we speak at Speakers Institute Corporate, that every conversation that you're having, there are 3 parts to it: the must know, the good to know, and an interesting fact that you would want to add. And with longer programs and everything long, we would always fluff around, and the must knows would always be hidden. But when we have lesser amount of time and more productive culture, what we are going to focus on, what's the must know for my audience? Everything what we are even doing right now is centered around what is the must know for this audience. And I think that has become the greatest shift, because we've gone from being fluffy to what's the must know, and then if you have got time, only then add what's good to know about this concept, what's good to know about this whole curriculum. Yeah, so I think that's a good shift that we are starting to see, and that is really the future of in-person and online.
Yeah, very, very good. And before I open up for maybe one or two maximum questions here, you talked there in that sense when we're doing corporate training that it's not about just rolling something off the shelf. In Kartik, you've seen like the approach we're taking, which is all about the client. And for you, what have you found most crucial to that than the way that we approach those programs in corporate training?
Very good question. So as I was talking about freedom from self and serve your stakeholder rather than serve your own interests, the greatest thing that I have seen in online trainings, which are so packed, is the content segments are only like 10 minutes or 15 minutes max that you've been seeing here today. And then there is a lot of breakout rooms on Zoom. And if we would do it here, probably it's breakout groups. I don't know what we should call it. So there is a lot of there is more practice than preaching in these trainings. And I feel that our stakeholders or our participants having that practice experience within those trainings, that we are giving some high-level trainings to companies like IBM, EY, and the likes. So when we teach and when they go into these practice rooms with a facilitator and under supervision practice these principles, they are walking away at the end of the day with some solid growth that they can then carry forward into their regular day-to-day affairs. And I've got messages from some of them on LinkedIn about how they've improved that one aspect that they learned at the training and how they're going more deeper with it. So the focus has shifted away from learning a lot to learning little and going deep and implementative about it. So that's what I'm seeing, Craig.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, and I think it's important, if you're looking from yourselves, if you either delivering internally corporate training or you're seeking someone to assist you, then it's not just about going, oh, we need a program on emotional intelligence. For us, we want to know, what is the culture in the organization? What wins have you had recently? What challenges are you facing? Because we need to make sure that emotional intelligence program is actually tailored to the unique needs and the gaps inside that organization. It can't just be, let's do something for the sake of it. It must be solving an actual problem, which I think is really, really crucial. We've got time for one question, so I'd like to, yes, at the back there.
On a daily basis, there's a whole lot of noise bombarding us, okay? Whether it's ambient noise at work, we have an open plan office where people are talking on their own conference calls, so you've got to block them out. And it's created a subconscious habit where people kind of tend to switch off, you know, if they're put into training programs, if they are on a virtual program as well. And what I want to ask is, how do you solve for that with, moving over to a virtual environment? How do you solve for the problem, this kind of trend that we're seeing in switching off?
Okay. Has anyone switched off tonight? Just put your hand up. Anyone switched off?
I love the question that you've asked, and I think the only way to get people to be engaging with you is using some energy shifters in the room. What we are just doing right now is shifting your energy every now and then. We are having Vanita, who is like more animated and she's full of life. And then we have Craig as an energy who is like calm and composed. And then we have a panel. And we would do the exact same thing online as well. We would ask them a question. It's called giving them a hook. You would ask them a question and ask them to respond in the chat box. And that's where you grab their attention.
Very good.
Just what I did when I came up on the stage. I asked all of you to stand up. Even if you were a bit distracted, you're seeing everyone, oh, standing up, I need to focus. What's happening? So I caught your attention there. After the presentation, again, I made you stand up. So what I did there was shifting the energy in the room and getting you to participate with me. So it's a skill, and of course, trainings can help you develop that.
It's a great question, and just to kind of wrap this up, we're in a world of micro-learning. It doesn't mean the whole program is micro, you've got to do it in 10 minutes. It means you need to decide for the audience that's there what is most necessary. So remove the unnecessary, and so that every point matters, every interaction, every engagement is strategic in a way, so you know what questions you're going to ask, when you want them to put something in the chat, how you then utilize what is said in the chat. And for us, even going in person, going forward, we will have up on the wall next to the slides a chat function. So in real time, we want to know the collective thoughts of the room, because otherwise we're going to be there 7-8 hours a day, because we'll open it up for lots of questions. See, I'd love to know right now what you're all thinking. And we've got the facility to do it, and we're about to implement it, because it will speed up the process, and then we can focus on, oh, I like that answer, I want to go deeper now. Or I'm going to pick on someone, and not tell them I'm picking on someone, but I will ask someone a question who's been very quiet. And I think the most important thing to finish with, and you've already heard it before, is the power of silence. We need to give people time to process what you've just said. Whether it's a different language, you need to give people time to digest. If I stand here and just keep speaking the whole time, all I'm doing is a monologue. Yep. I am just speaking to you. It's one way. What you need to do is shift to a dialogue. Doesn't mean they have to talk back, but you need to pause and give them space to answer the question or think a thought in their head. Then it becomes a dialogue. How can you shift from a monologue to a dialogue as a leader or when you're doing training? Really important.